We're looking at two questions together because question 3 is a question about providing textual evidence for question 2. But we're still going to be using riprap. So ignoring the answer choices for question 2, let's read the question and then try to rephrase it in our own words. In the passage, the author anticipates which of the following objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets? So, objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets. Okay, this is kind of complicated. Let's break it out piece by piece. So, criticizing the ethics of free markets. Someone thinks free markets are bad or unethical. Objections to criticizing the ethics of free markets. What is a reason that someone thinks free markets are good, actually? So we're looking for the author bringing up an idea that rebuts the notion that free markets are unethical. And before we even look at the answer choices, let's hop over to the passage and see when they mention markets. Recent debates about the economy have rediscovered the question, is that right, where right means more than just profits or efficiency. Some argue that because the free markets, here's the word markets, allow for personal choice, they are already ethical. Well, this right here, lines 4 and 5, kind of meet the way that we've rephrased it. That is an objection to a critique of the ethics of free markets. So my prediction is going to be that our answer is similar to that free markets are already ethical. So we can go through these answer choices if we want. But if that sounds intimidating to you, if you look at these and you're like, I have no idea where to start, we could see what the next question provides for us for rationales. So which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? I have my idea, and I think my idea is D, is free markets are ethical because they enable individuals to make free choices, because of the line in the passage that said, some people believe that free markets are already ethical, and we know that's lines 4 and 5. But let's see if these other choices help support the argument that a free market is good or ethical. So let's look at lines 7 to 9, beginning with but and going to about. But before we can label any market outcome as immoral or sneer at economists who try to put a price on being ethical, we need to be clear on what we are talking about. This doesn't seem to support that argument. This doesn't seem to make a case that free markets are ethical. In fact, it says before we can label free markets as ethical or not, we need to define some terms. So I'm going to cross that off. Let's go over to lines 18 and 19, Smith to outcome. Here's Smith here in line 18. Smith justifies selfish behavior by the outcome. Well, that's just a little aside about Adam Smith. And we know that there's something about Adam Smith, I think was in answer A. Smith's association of free markets with ethical behavior still applies today. Well, that doesn't really match. Like, that just happens to mention Adam Smith's name. I'm going to cross off this one and that one. Let's look at answer choice D, lines 43 through 45, beginning with when and ending with way. When a finance official, here I am at 43, when a finance official refuses to devalue a currency because they have promised not to, they are defining ethics this way. But that's an example of a type of ethical practice in economics. It doesn't really have anything to do with free markets or a critique of free markets. I do see that answer choice C in question 2 is about devalued currency, so I think that's where they're getting that from. But that just uses some of the same language as the passage does, but it doesn't really have anything to do with the ethics of free markets. So that brings us back to lines 4 to 5. Some argue that because the free markets allow for personal choice, they are already ethical. So I'm going to circle answer A for 3, because that seems to provide the most evidence for answer D. Free markets are ethical because they enable individuals to make choices. And we've used the process of elimination to knock out everything else. We're doing 2 questions at once here. And let's just knock out B just to make sure. Free markets are the best way to generate high profits, so ethics are a secondary consideration. Well, we know from process of elimination that answer A for question 3 is our answer. So now the question is, which one of these 2 answer choices in question 2 does some people believe that the free market is already ethical support more? Does it support this thing about high profits, which isn't mentioned in the quote, or does it mention free markets are ethical because they enable individuals to make choices? And I think it's this one, because high profits is not mentioned here. What's going to happen in a lot of these choices is you're going to see things that you might have glimpsed elsewhere in the passage, and that's going to make them seem plausible. You're going to see this jargon like devalued currency, and maybe you don't know what that means in an econ context. And that's okay. Focus on what you do know and make a prediction about what you think the answer is going to be. And then further, look for lines in the passage that match your predictions. Once you do that, you can seek out the evidence you require and use that textual backing to answer the first question with confidence.